Hello everybody and welcome to another Pokemon trading card game video, and this one is a bit different to normal. This one is a day or an evening in the life of a Pokemon Pro, and I'm not really. And this evening starts off like many others. We get the cats all together and we give them their treats. They are well trained, they will sit for the treats, they are very good. I get a high five here from Morty. Love it. He's such an adorable little cat. Beans, the ginger boy, just kind of hangs out and does his own thing, but they all jump up for the treats, give me a little bit of fuss, and they get the treats. And even Sylvie, our cat potato, is very cute and does a little bit of a sniff, and then she gets the treats. Next up is uniform change from work to casual. New pins on the belt, and then we've got some stuff to put in. We've got playmats, so we've got 2 different deck boxes because you can't just have one deck. You have to have at least 3 apparently. Water, gotta stay hydrated for my hydration bros out there. The tripods for recording today, very important because I know you forgot those last time. Trades folder, and some spare sleeves, which we'll be using shortly. Next, we're driving up to, I believe it's called the Hive car park in Hanley. I live in Stoke for context, and we park up here just so we can walk into Hanley. Here you see some amazing teleportation skills. I actually borrowed an Abra for this, so please don't try and replicate this. You won't be able to just jump forward like this. It's actually impossible without an Abra. Very important to make sure you got a teleportation Pokemon, otherwise, you know, how are you going to get to anywhere in record time? And here we are, Geek Retreat in Hanley. This place opened, I think, in January of this year. Maybe just in December last year? I forget which. I will fact check. But yeah, I've been coming here since February, playing Pokemon mostly. I come here occasionally to hang out with people as well, but yeah, we walk in, we say hello to the usuals. Mitch was there. We grab Monster because, you know, I can't survive without my caffeine. It's literally impossible. Next up, Tills. We've got to pay for the Monster. We can't just take it. That would be illegal. Order food, pay for Pokemon. We say hi to Josh and Rob on the checkout. I quickly asked Josh if he wanted me to, or want to say hi to the video. He said no first. I made him say hi. So now that we're all done with that, we've ordered food, we have to go through and check our deck. Today I'm playing the Metal Dogs, as I call it, which is Zacian V and Dialga V Star. Always check through to make sure I've got the correct number of cards in my deck, because there's been more than a few times where I've kind of played and gone, I'm missing a card here, and yeah, turns out completely missing a card. Next up is checking the sleeves. I've had a couple of issues with these sleeves being a bit damaged. Usually not an issue here, but like in a more, you know, tournament format and stuff like that, you got to make sure you got no damaged sleeves because it can be perceived as marked cards. So I was trying to make sure they're all in tip-top shape as well, and it's not helped by me being absolutely terrible at shuffling as well. So I think there was only 2 here that needed changing. You might be able to see a little bit of the marking on there, so they just wanted cleaning up a little bit. There's not actually not many of those sleeves in that box either. I've got like more of them on like spare cards that are kicking around, so I should really get that box refilled, because otherwise we're gonna end up running out of sleeves pretty quickly. I quite like the silver ones on my metal deck. Here's my food: double bacon cheeseburger with sweet potato fries and my gross sauce that I make. That's Mitch pulling a face at me. And here's Harry telling us all about who is taking on who. This bit's always fun because unless you're one of the regulars, you're like, who's that? What's going on? I have no idea who any of these people are, but you know, we have quite a cool regular group of people. More and more people are joining every week as well, which is really nice. But then every so often you just get someone new and you're like, who the hell's Jeffrey? Never heard of a Jeffrey in my life. These aren't real people at all. So my first match was against Araya. Araya is the daughter of the lady in the background there, Angela, on the left. I believe that's Fran, realizing she's on the camera as well. That's why she's moving around a lot. That was a funny moment of realization. So yeah, I'm playing Dialga V Star, Zacian V as already mentioned. Araya is playing a Flareon VMAX Senscorch VMAX deck, and it's always fun playing against the kids because you always worry a little bit that they're maybe not going to know the full rules and stuff like that, but honestly the group of kids we play with on Tuesday night are fantastic. They do really well, and you kind of like go up against a matchup with someone younger and you're like, oh, I hope they don't know how the game works. I hope they don't see tactics and stuff, and then they do, and you're like, oh crap, these kids are actually better than me. But yeah, it was a good game. Again, we don't take it too seriously on a Tuesday. I think we have heard of people that take this game a bit more serious, being a bit annoyed that people have like mixed sleeves like that, again, for like, you know, the marking of like, oh, this card is this card and that card's that card kind of thing. But yeah, you can't see it too clearly, annoyingly. I do get a better angle later, but the Dialga deck is an absolute mess. And its acceleration is like incredibly good. At some point I will do like a proper Dialga deck tour too, because I feel like I don't really show much in this one other than just showing you guys, you know, a typical matchup, how it all goes, etc. So yeah, it's I think it's a deck tour video is on the cards next. So round one went to me. I do my usual. I've got a go-to with this deck already, and it's very much set up a knockout with Star Chronos. Try not to, like, sometimes you have to, especially against VMAXs. I try and set it up so Zacian V goes first, and then hopefully does enough damage on a VMAX or a beefier target to then get knocked out with Star Chronos. Then whatever gets brought up next, either knock that out with, I think it's Metal Blast, or set it up so you can boss his orders into something else. The deck is incredible. You can take anywhere between 2 prize cards to like 5 prize cards in 2 turns in a row because of Dialga's V-Star attack. It's really good. After a series of bullying with my ridiculously overpowered deck, I decided to give it a go with the Arceus V-Star Lucario V-Star deck. I haven't shown that one on video, I don't think, yet. It's a ridiculously good deck. I really enjoy it, but I think if you haven't played much Pokemon, there's a lot going on with it and almost too many options as to what to do. I ended up coaching a little bit and going, okay, this is the ability that Arceus has. You should try looking for these 2 cards or those 2 cards, and yeah, it was fun. I'm not brilliant at the game myself, but I am trying to like help people with the limited knowledge I have as well. Next up we go against Dan. Dan is using a modified Inteleon VMAX League deck. He's put Glaceon VMAX and V-Star in there, also Crabominable V to add some interesting little tactics as well. It's interesting. I suppose you'd call it more of like a water toolbox or something like that, but it was interesting. I enjoyed playing against it. I will say this much, my first game against him was a little bit terrifying. I got down to 1 prize card and then did my typical Dialga BS of just like spinning it around without, you know, any warning. It's a very good deck for that kind of thing. But he did really well. You know, it's interesting to see how people modify decks like that, because the League Battle deck, I know my partner plays it as well, and she does really well with it. We've just turned it into like an absolute beast of a deck. But like seeing how other people have modified theirs as well, and then also with the Shadow Rider and Ice Rider decks that are coming out this year, I think the way people are going to change them around is going to be very interesting. So I took the first game with typical shenanigans, down to 1 prize card on his side, but I managed to take, I think, 5 in like 2 turns. You know, as I mentioned, setting up for the VMAX knockout and then taking out whatever comes up next with the Metal Blast attack. The next game wasn't as close. Listen, I'm not one to call people out because I don't think I do well a lot of the time, but they got greedy. I think they evolved to the VMAX a bit too early without thinking about like the consequences of the Metal Blast coming out and taking them down. I think, again, I took 5 prize cards in the space of 2 turns. Like, not a problem. Because of how quickly you can build up this deck, it's ridiculous. Honestly, I'm kind of lucky so far that, like, nobody here at Geek Retreat plays, like, other meta decks. I've not played against a Palkia with this deck yet, and I've not played against an Arceus deck yet either, so I assume once those come up, I think my weaknesses will be a bit more exposed. The only deck I have played that is a meta deck at the moment is Mew VMAX. But I had a really bad draw on 2 of my rounds, so that's what I'm blaming, and that's what I'm sticking with. But yeah, in the end, this was another 2-0 victory to me. This is a really interesting week, because I thought, you know, some of the better players haven't shown up. We've got a couple of guys who used to be regulars that have since disappeared. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I've been catapulted into a position of championship of the store at the very least. And finally, the only person to wave for the camera, my best friend whose name I didn't forget, Sophie. This was, again, Dialga V-Star Zacian V versus Typhlosion V-Star Mimikyu VMAX. Bit more of an interesting deck, a bit of a different one. There is something I quite enjoy about playing with a couple of my friends here. Sophie does come up with her own decks. It's less, you know, looking at metas and going, yeah, that's the one I'm going to go for, which is, again, something I'm trying to get away from a little bit as well. He's not in this video, unfortunately, but James also comes up with, like, some brilliant single prize decks, so hopefully I'll be able to get some recording done with him at some point. Again, as I mentioned, it's better angle to see what's going on with this match, but yeah, I need to get like an overhead cam, I think. I think that'll be a much better option for me at this stage. I might set that up. We'll see what we can do. We'll do another day in the life of a Pokemon Pro who can actually aim a camera properly. So the first round was done very quickly. I got Dialga into, I think, 6 energy by turn 3. Dialga's main attack does 40 damage plus 40 more for every energy attached. So as you can imagine, by the time you're at 6 or 7 energy, you're just knocking things out, not a problem with one swing. And he's a beefy boy too, 280 HP. He's hard to take down.
Oh, it's Diglett!
And there's Rob doing his best Diglett impression. It's brilliant. I love it. He's absolute king of the realm. Love the Sapphic Egretry. They are very funny, very brilliant people. Yep, we're into round 2 now, and it's an interesting start, if I remember right. I think this one starts with like Bronzor. Yeah, Bronzor versus a Typhlosion V. There's a bit of a panic, but it's nice seeing them in a way because it means I've got my 2 main draw/mechanic Pokemon out there. I use Bronzong to move like Metal Energy that's put onto the bench via Metal Saucer onto the main attacker, and then Magnemite I've got into Rare Candy to Magnezone to look at the top 6 of the deck, and then pull any energy out and put them as I like. So yeah, it's an interesting combination. There's like multiple ways for this deck to be powered up, and it's weird. You don't really have to decide which one you want to go for either. You kind of go, okay, these are the cards I've ended up with. I already know the tactic I've got to go with. The main key, I think, with this deck is being able to start with a Zacian somewhere, especially a turn 1 Zacian, because if you can see there, look, I've already got 3 energy ready on a Zacian. So if I've got a switch or a retreat option, I've immediately got a Zacian there doing 230 damage, not a problem. So yeah, actually, I don't think Sophie got to take any prize cards here. I think I just powered Dialga up. I think this is the turn where I powered Dialga up in like 4 or 5 turns and just got it done. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, the Dialga deck working incredibly well. After that, I swapped to the Arceus deck, and I felt a bit mean because I didn't think about this at all. But Arceus V-Star is fine. Lucario V-Star is fine. I've also got Crobat VMAX in there and Hooper, so I've also got weakness advantage as well. So maybe a bit unfair, but it was good fun. It was good fun. I enjoyed it. So that's it, guys, for day/evening in the life of a Pokemon Pro. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more stuff like this, I will absolutely work on doing more stuff like this. If you want to check out my social media links, all the options for that are in the description below. And hey, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.